Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is NEStalgiaholic and welcome to another episode. It's been a while since I've had a video on this channel. I appreciate you guys' patience for sure. Today's episode we're going to talk about then and now, comparing now to the 1980s. So let's get started. Back in the 80s we had Madonna, Prince, and David Bowie. Fantastic singers, fantastic artists. They were great to listen to. I really enjoyed it. Now we have Lady Gaga. In the 80s you had teeny boppers that really flocked to groups like Tiffany, who traveled to malls and had concerts all over America. Today you got Justin Bieber. Back in the 80s we used mail to communicate back and forth, to write letters to each other. Now we use email. If you wanted to sell anything back in the 80s, you'd either post something in the newspaper or use advertisements in the wanted ads. Okay? Today, we use Craigslist and eBay. Back in the 80s, as far as systems go, Nintendo had the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Game Boy. Today, we've got the Wii and the DS. Interesting enough, the Wii actually plays Nintendo games through the Virtual Console. Back in the 80s, as far as basketball is concerned, Lakers dominated the 80s with championships. Today hasn't changed much. Lakers, unfortunately, still dominate the league. Back in the 80s, I remember playing with Legos. Classic toys, still around, very popular even today. But you know, today they also have Legos video games, which is interesting. So you have Legos in actual video games, including Lego Star Wars, Lego Batman, Lego Harry Potter just came out, Lego Indiana Jones, etc. and so forth. Back in the 80s, Kenner was huge with the Star Wars figures. It was awesome. They had Empire Strikes Back figures and Return of the Jedi. Today, Hasbro took over Kenner, but the figures actually that just came out look very similar to the ones back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, Transformers was a very popular cartoon show. Now, Transformers is a very popular movie series. Back in the 80s, Apple made the first ever Macintosh computer. Today, Apple has the iMac. Back in the 80s, one of the most popular sci-fi movies was Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. Now, the equivalent sci-fi movie is pretty popular with Avatar. Back in the 80s, to listen to music, we had audio cassettes or records. Today, you have MP3s. It's all digital, most of it, and CDs, but that's going to be gone here in about 10 years, my theory. If you wanted to watch a movie back in the 80s at home, you'd have to use VHS. Today, you've got DVD and Blu-ray. Quality has gotten so much better. Back in the 80s, if you were on the road, you had two options to call home. You'd have to go to a payphone and put a quarter in the phone and call home, or you could call collect. Today, everyone has pretty much a cell phone, so it's not a big deal. Payphones are pretty much non-existent. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys saw kind of similarities between now and the 80s. Things have changed quite a bit, and some things haven't. So I loved growing up in the 80s. It was awesome. I'm really proud to say I grew up in the 80s. And until next time, take care. Thanks.